last cruise, I tried to do things a little bit differently to see if I still preferred one way over the other. And guess what? Some things I kept my original opinion on, but on others, I have totally changed my mind. Hey, howdy, hey, Disney Cruisers! My name's Ashley. That's Ashley with an A. If you are a part of our Disney Cruiser family already, give me a like down below so I know that you're here. And if you happen to like what you see or are planning your Disney cruise, then you should go ahead and subscribe because I have video upon video of information you need to know. I decided that on my last cruise, I was going to do a few things differently and see how I felt about them. So I'm just going to kind of talk about my last cruise and then also mention as I go along things that I preferred and then things that I don't want to do again. This cruise was a 3-night on the Dream in January. On this cruise, my family of 4 sailed with our friends. They were a family of 4 as well, with 2 daughters about the same age as my youngest daughter. They have been on several Disney cruises, so they were not newbies to the Disney cruise addiction. This sailing was on January 17th, and oh my goodness, it was windy. So windy. Normally on the first night, it's the rockiest night just because of where the ship has to sail in order to get down to the Bahamas or the Caribbean. I took my medicine. I never felt nauseous, but it got to the point where it was just flat out annoying. My children did feel sick. I gave one of my children Bonine earlier in the day and then she ended up feeling better. My other one ended up going back to sleep in the room around 6:30. We gave her a Bonine and then she fell asleep and then she was fine for the rest of the sailing. But this was the rockiest I've ever felt it. You could not even walk. I was nervous that I was gonna fall over, that I was gonna fall into people, that people were gonna fall into me, that whatever I was holding was going to spill on somebody or drop to the ground. I couldn't really keep track of my children because I was concentrating so much on walking. The wind speed was normally between 40 and 50 knots, and it was relentless. It was constant. This video shows you how much the curtain was swaying in the Walt Disney Theater. Yes, sometimes it does sway, but this was opening up so much like you could see behind the stage. I was so over the waves and trying to just walk and stand and survive that I skipped Match Your Mate and I skipped the first silent disco party. I went back to the room and it was like 9 o'clock. We got room service. I watched a movie, but I just wanted to sit in my bed because I was done walking around. I was done. I was spent. It was just enough. My husband felt the same way. If he would have wanted to go see Match Your Mate, or if our friends were going to go see Match Your Mate, I could have managed to go, but nobody wanted to go. Everyone was feeling the same way, so it was kind of an easy decision. We just decided to stay in. That's the first time ever I've stayed in the room that early, and that's the first time I have ever skipped Match Your Mate and a silent disco. Like, it was killing me. But luckily I know silent discos are really popular, so I knew it was going to be on another night. I still believe, when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign, hit me baby one more time. Also during that night, they came over the speaker and said that around 10:30 or 11, the lights went out in the aft of the ship. That's where all of the adult stuff happens anyways, so I don't even know what happened then. The lights weren't out for very long, but it was something where they had to come over the speaker and tell us all that, you know, there are no lights back there. Also on this sailing, the kids club computers decided to not work for one night, and it was probably the most important time of the night. It was the busiest time. It was when people were going in between dinner and show, so they were dropping their kids off before dinner so they could get ready. Then they would pick them up, then they would go to either dinner or the show, and then for that like hour in between, they were dropping them back off and then picking them back up, and it was a mess. The entire length of that hall on deck 5 was just filled with people waiting in line. You had to go and tell them your name and your room number, and they had to write down each kid's name by hand. It took forever. They ended up splitting up and saying like those with last names A through L would enter through the lab and those with names M through Z would enter through the club. But that communication was getting mixed up halfway through. People didn't know. They were just walking up. They didn't realize there was a line. It was just a mess. So based on the rocky waves, the kids club being out, the lights going out, if this was somebody's first cruise, I don't know if they loved it. Now, having said that I went to bed early and I was back in my room, I did enjoy the fact that I woke up not tired. I normally wake up tired on cruises because I stay up super late and I get up super early. I just can't sleep. I'm too excited. So I did like having energy in the morning. Another thing we decided to do was have early dinner. I wanted to see if maybe some time has gone by, maybe I like it more because my kids are older, yada yada. Dinner came out a lot faster. Like, you got your food lickety split, bam, 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 everything, like appetizer, entree, everything you order, one would come after the other. So getting your food quickly, I enjoyed. I feel like though you lost connection with the wait staff because they were so rushed to try and get you out of there so they could clean and set the table for the next group, that there really wasn't a connection. They kind of made jokes with the kids, but it was not anything like how they respond to you when you have second seating. It was more of a, let me give you your food, and less of a, hey, let's have a relationship. Did that part bother me? Not really. Getting out of dinner early did throw me, and I was kind of confused for the whole rest of the night. I thought that it took forever for the adult stuff to start in the back of the ship. I was kind of really tired by the time that came around because I feel like I had been up super longer because I was so used to going from dinner straight to like Match Your Mate or some show in Evolution. It wasn't a bad thing. I think my kids enjoyed it more because they were more awake to play in the kids club and they had more time in between the dinner and the show to play in the kids club. But we were struggling to stay awake in that theater. There was times I was nodding off and tried to stay awake, and I love the shows and my kids love the shows. Our priority is the entertainment. So I do think that having dinner early was bad for us because we got too tired to do all the things we actually wanted to do. Another negative that I still didn't like was having to rush to get to dinner on time. And because we ate so early, our days were planned way differently. We couldn't sleep in as late because then we had breakfast at 10. And then we had lunch at 2, and then we had to eat dinner, all the yummy things that we wanted to order 3.5 hours later, and I wasn't hungry. We just were not hungry for dinner. Most of the time, I only ordered 1 or 2 things off the menus that I love, so it did make our cruise a lot different having that early seating. Next time, I'm gonna go back to late dinner. We even skipped a meal. We were in the pub playing trivia. We sat there for like 4 rounds of trivia. We got tater tots, but we totally forgot we didn't eat lunch. We had a late breakfast. It was around 10 o'clock. But then after that, like by the time we realized what time it was like 3:30, and we were like, well, we don't want to eat now because we have to go eat dinner. Totally forgot lunch. That means we also skipped a meal. Like, we paid to have that lunch, like that food that we never ate. And then on top of that, we got tater tots that were $8. So we paid an extra $8 to eat tater tots and not eat the food we already paid for. Also, when I picked up the kids in the kids club around 5 o'clock to go get ready for dinner, all 4 of them said that we were getting ready to go have lunch, and I kept saying no dinner, and they were like, no, it's lunchtime. And I had to explain to them that we were such awesome parents that we forgot to feed our kids. Now, they could have called us to say to come pick them up if they were hungry, which they didn't. They were having a good time, and we did have breakfast at 10. But if I wasn't so worried about being hungry for dinner, I don't think that would have happened. Since I'm on the topic of food, one thing that frustrated me this time was that the line for cabanas was a line. It's not supposed to be a line. The cast members there tell you it's not a line. Yes, if you are wanting some food from the first little pod, then you have to stand in line to get it. But there are plates all up and down the buffet. They're little sections, like you're just supposed to go up and get what you want and then back away. It's not a line to wait in. It took so long to get our food. So just a little tip, when you're at cabanas, you don't have to stand in line. But I know, like, I was there and I looked like I was rude. I didn't want to look like I was cutting people off, but it wasn't a line. So I looked like that I was the person who didn't know how to stand in line the right way. But really, there wasn't supposed to be a line. So it was kind of like, I don't know, a conundrum. I didn't know what to do. Eat my food and not waste my time, or look like a jerk. Castaway was so nice. It gets better and better as your kids get older. I also like Castaway more than my husband, so he even left 2 hours early and went back to the ship and watched a movie in the room. And we've never really been separated when we went on cruises, and we thought it was great. Not because we hate each other, but it was just something different. So it didn't feel like you had to be with each other all the time and do all the things that everyone wants to do. So it just kind of added more of a personalized touch to your vacation. So 2 things that I put a stink up about that I said I absolutely hated and was mad at Disney for was that they put the shampoo pump bottles in the shower. Lots of people thought I was mad about this because that meant that I couldn't hoard them and take them home, but that's not at all what I was mad about. I think people just didn't listen to what I was saying. I was worried that other people's germs were going to be on it. I don't hate it as much as I thought I would hate it. Yes, somebody could pour something in. Just because a little sticker there says that it's tamper proof, you know, you can just take the sticker off. I feel like people are on vacation. They don't have time to worry about messing with people's shampoo bottles. I actually use a lot more of the product because when we had the little bottles, I always felt like I had to save some for the rest of my family. And now I just keep pumping the thing. I would get a whole handful of conditioner and shampoo and body wash. And I did think that aspect of it was great. So I don't really miss those little bottles. And I don't think the pumps are as gross as they could be, but I still think that that's not a perfect solution for trying to be environmentally friendly. The other thing that I hated was that they stopped giving you paper navigators in your room. You could still go down and get them at guest services. They still had them, but y'all, I didn't even get one. The first day we had one, but even then I had it on me and I never looked at it because I used the app. The app has gotten so much better. Even just from September to January, they've added a bunch of things to it. I think it's great. I think that maybe they should not have launched the app until it looked like how it does now and they had all the stuff on it. But I do recommend the app and I loved having it. Because it was colder out though, I was wearing my jeans and so I always had my phone with me in my pocket. I think if I went in the summer and I didn't always have pockets, I don't think I would want to be carrying my phone around though to have the app with me. So that might be a little bit different. But I will admit the navigator on the phone is not as horrible as I thought it was going to be. So that's my little rundown of my last cruise. I didn't really vlog anything because the first day I couldn't even stand up. The second day we were at Castaway, and then right after Castaway was dinner and then the show, and then Pirate Night. And then after that was the third day. It was a day at sea, and I just played trivia the whole time, and so it was kind of just boring. I don't know, there was nothing interesting, so I didn't really vlog a lot. So I thought it might be better for me to just give you my highlights and tell you things that I did differently. Maybe that would help you a little bit more than just watching me answer trivia questions wrong. Thank you for watching. If you want to check out more videos, stick around the channel and click on some, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodaloo, cruisers!